Oh, yay, we're live. Thank you all so much for your patience. Like I said, we are kind of new to the YouTube platform. Before this, we were meeting in Zoom. So I'm excited that everything's working. Hi, everyone. My name's Leandra, and I'm so excited for Code Club with you all today. We are going to be focused on coding a Snapchat filter. Last week, we ran into some bugs with the new YouTube platform, but today, we're moving forward. I have my little camera up here. And yeah, I'm excited to get started. Let me know in the chat if you've been to Code Club before or this is your first time. And thank you for sticking it out even though we started a few minutes late. So today we are going to be making Snapchat filters with code. We are going to be using variables, we're going to be using objects, and we're going to be doing all that to essentially create a filter like you would see when choosing a location filter on Snapchat. For those of you who are newer to Coding Club, this might be the first time that you're using variables. That's totally fine. We'll know when we're seeing variables because we're going to see this word var. Whenever you see the word var in JavaScript, at least the version of JavaScript that we use in Coding Club, you know that you're looking at a variable. And variables are just containers that hold different things. So if anyone was here last week, you remember that we were calling different functions. Variables let us save that data, those objects that are created when we call those functions. So we can edit them later. So we can do things like change the color of the text, change the location, all of that. Variables make that really easy. And then later on, when we want to do things like, user input, like make things interactive, variables make it really easy to save the data of everything on our canvas so we can do that. So we can make it interactive and do all the things that we want with it. Yeah, exactly. So this is what it's going to look like. Var, whatever variable name you choose, and what you're putting inside of it. So in the case of here, age is our variable name. 12 is the number inside it. Hello there it lives inside a variable called greeting. And all these pieces of candy, 5 it looks like, live in this variable called candy. We can change variables after we've created them. We're not going to do that in this Snapchat filter project. In this one, we're just going to use the variable names we create to edit those objects and to edit what our project looks like. So with that, let's go ahead and get started. For those of you who already have accounts, sign in. You should have gotten an email with the account information on how to sign up. If not, go ahead and just go to this link, vidcode.com/project/Snapchat, and that will put you into a coding environment that you can use to follow along today. I'll leave this up for a second so everyone can get there. Cool. For those of you who do have accounts, you're just going to go to vidcode.com, My Classes, click Start Coding. Right here, yours is going to be the big blue button. And then go up to Starter Projects. Yeah, go up to Starter Projects. And then go down to Snapchat filter. It should be the second thing down right here. What's up, Cameron? Hey. Cool. So for those of you who are new to VidCode, for those of you who this is your first coding club, this is the workstation, this is the coding editor, this is where we spend most of our time at Club making projects. It's broken up into instructions over on the left here, my actual editor in the middle, my canvas here on the right, and then my media gallery here on the bottom. You can see that I have backgrounds here, I have graphics. I can upload my own backgrounds, which I'm going to encourage you to do today. I can also use any of these different graphics. This Snapchat tutorial was originally part of a back to school contest. So it has mostly back to school graphics here. You don't have to use these. You can upload your own, and I'll show you how to use emojis as well. So for those of you who just got here, go to this link, vidcode.com/project/Snapchat. I'll leave this up for another second before I go ahead and get started. Okay, I hope you all had a chance to type that in. I'm going to go ahead and hop back to the workstation, but it is vidcode.com/project/Snapchat. I'll post it in the chat as well. Cool. So let's get started here. So the very first thing that we are going to do is decide what our background is going to be. This could be more of like a face filter project, but I kind of want this to be like a location filter project. So this one is telling me to drag in the webcam. You can do that if you want and make this more of like a traditional, like I'm on Snapchat, I'm using my camera, but I'm gonna actually look up the location that I want to make this of and use that as my background. So let's see, where do I want to go? Where do I wish I can go but can't travel to right now? I feel like a beach maybe, or let's see, like a jungle. I mean, I used the Brooklyn Bridge for the last one. I think, let me just do like Coney Island. Coney Island's a fun one. So I'm gonna look up Coney Island and get a picture. I guess I could go to Coney Island. I live in New York, but I'm probably not right now. I'm not really traveling right now. And I want to choose a picture that like maybe looks like something that I would have taken. And I'm going to use this as the background for my project. Oh, I really like this. Okay, this is really pretty. I'm going to use this one. So I'm just going to save this to my local computer. I'll call it Coney Island. It's going to save as a JPEG. And then once I've done that, I'm going to go back to here, back to my code editor, go to upload file, choose that Coney Island picture, and upload it to my gallery. Once that's uploaded, just like in other projects we've done, I can go ahead and just drag that in, and it will load in the background. I'm going to delete these comments, just because I don't think I need them for this project. Or actually, I'm just going to change them. So comments are things that programmers add to their code just for other people to see. Computers can't actually read them or don't read them. So instead of my awesome Snapchat filter customized code here, I'm going to move it to the top. I'm just going to say Leandra's Coney Island Snapchat filter. Just going to say filter. Filter, location filter. Yeah, so feel free to add a comment to yours as well so everyone will know it's your project. By default, VidCode doesn't show usernames. That's for privacy reasons. But you can go ahead and put your username in your project if you want everyone to know that it's yours. I love Coney Island. I don't know if I'm going to get out there this summer. I also love like roller coasters. So maybe I'll add like roller coasters to this project. So as I click through, I'm on step 3 right now, I get these buttons that start to appear. So I can go ahead and drag this into my code editor, and a bunch of code appears. You can see here, I get this line of code that kind of drops into 2 lines because my screen is kind of squished right now. I have like var box equals rectangle equals 0 with the arguments of 0, movie.height minus 180, movie.width, and 200. Now, what does that mean? What are all those numbers? You can see the boxes here in the bottom. So it's really easy if I ever am not sure what the arguments are in a function I create on VidCode. I can just click on it and it'll tell me what the different arguments mean. So I can see if I click on varbox equals rect, I get x, y, width, height, and color. And if any of you have been in previous clubs where we've done make a meme before, this will look really familiar to you. If you haven't and it looks like a lot, don't worry. It'll all like start to make sense as you play around with it. But from this, I can read that 0 is my x position. So where my rectangle is left or right. So basically, it's nowhere. It's as far left as it can be. If I move this number up, it's going to start to move to the left. Yeah, so here you can see 200. It gets like pushed to the side a bit. This is the y position. It's set to movie.height minus 180 because it's trying to standardize for wherever someone is, like whatever size file you upload or use. So it's essentially all the way at the bottom minus 180. I'm just going to change this so it's hard-coded. I'm actually going to set it to 0. No, I'll set it to like 800. 900. It's like 1,000. This next argument that I'm passing in is movie.width. It's setting this to the width of my movie. That's exactly what I want. I want it to go all the way across. And then 200 is the height. So this is 200 pixels high. I want it to be a little bit higher. There we go. So this is the start of my filter. This is where I'm going to sort of use the base and put text on top of it and all of that. There are also things that I can start to edit. So do you remember when I was talking about variables? For those of you who've been here from the beginning of 3, this is what I was talking about. So this box is actually set to be a variable, and box holds my rectangle. So what does that mean? That means that I can later, like I'm doing in line 7 and 8, call box and edit its properties. So I can go ahead and change like box.color to, instead of blue, I can click on blue and choose another color. I really like this yellow that's kind of in the wheel, so I'm going to make it like a bit of a yellow. There we go. And then I also have another property here already created for me called opacity. And this actually lets me change how see-through my box is. So if I want to, instead of having it like completely opaque, so I can't see it over the wheel, I could instead make it like 0.5, and it starts to be transparent. 0.7. So play around with this if you're following along. Start to make this look the way that you want. Something that like maybe helps the other colors in your scene stand out a little bit. I like that if I make it a bit more transparent, I can start to see these like buildings in the background. That looks really nice to me. Yeah, this looks good. Luke's, so this is Coding Club. We meet once a week at 3 p.m. And we code different projects together. So this is one project that we're programming together. Other weeks we've done like make a meme. Other weeks we've done create like a video filter, like an Instagram filter that looks more artistic a bit. Other weeks we've done like drawings with code. It's sort of across the board, but that is why we're here. So next, I'm going to go ahead and drag this text block. So if I click next, now I'm on step 6 out of 19, and another block has appeared down here. So I can go ahead and drag in text and have it appear, and a whole bunch of code appears. So just like before, you can see that I have a variable. This time it's called tip, and it's set to text. And the argument that's getting passed in is back to school tip. Remember, this is a back to school contest. We're not doing that here. We're doing location filters. It's set to a font called Oswald, and it's set to a Y position, which is the up and down position of movie.height minus 120. So you can see it's going all the way down to movie.height, the very bottom, and then subtracting 120 from that to get it up here. So here's a whole bunch of stuff I'm going to want to change. The very first thing is I'm going to step 7 out of 19. And that is the text that's getting passed in. You can see it's like super, super small right here. I'm going to make it bigger. It's one of the properties that I can edit that I have control over for text. So let's see. So first I'm going to change this to, do I want to say Wonder Wheel Coney Island or do I just want to say Coney Island? Luke's, if you want to join, this is the link just to hop on. So I think for now I'm just going to say Coney Island or like welcome to Coney Island. Yeah, I like that. It's like a bit longer. Maybe I'll add an emoji. I'm going to be adding emojis soon. Yeah, I'll add one. So welcome to Coney Island, and I'm going to add, let's see, is there like a beach emoji? There must be. Yeah, this is cute. For those of you who have a Mac, I get to emojis by going up to edit, emojis and symbols, but you can also go to like getomoji.com. I'll post that link in the chat as well. It's okay, Milo. And then I can go ahead and if I want, instead, I can like copy and paste an emoji. I'm going to use the sunglasses because like I'm at the beach and wearing sunglasses. And then paste it here. Luke's, if you're having trouble or if you think there's a bug, just email me a screenshot of your project at leandra@vidcode.com. I just posted it in the chat as well. And I can look into it and possibly help you out after club. Milo, if you do want to follow along with the beginning of the video, this does get recorded. So you'll all have access to this, yeah, after it's over. Cool. So now that I have the text that I want, the next thing that I can change is the font. Before I do that, I'm actually going to change the size. I'm going to like hop ahead a little bit, just because it is like super hard to see. So I'm going to say tip.size. It's 55 by default, so anything bigger than that is going to be bigger. Anything smaller is going to be smaller. Yeah, 200 looks good. It's kind of cutting it off. And then I'm going to want to change the Y position to move it up a bit. So I'm going to delete all this logic. Like I said, this is just to try and standardize the project, depending, like, so no matter what size video you're using, it'll look the same. But I'm just going to hard code it. Remember, you can like hover over your canvas to see where you're at. So it looks like the Y position that I want is like 1,000. So I'm just going to set this to 1,000. And I'm looking, so do you see right under my canvas the numbers that appear? That tells me the X and Y position of my cursor. And it's super helpful when I'm trying to place things like text. Cool, that's looking good. Okay, I'm not going to jump ahead anymore. I just wanted to make sure that everyone could see my text. Something else that's been like auto added for you that lives in this text block is, for me, what's on line 12. So tip.font equals Oswald. You can go ahead and change this to any font that you have on your computer. I'm going to change mine to Roboto. Nah, that doesn't look that nice. What about, I don't know, what's like a good font? Like cursive can be fun. That doesn't really like, oh, that actually kind of like looks Coney Island-y. Yeah, I'm gonna leave it. It's like a little silly. Like if I was making a professional Snapchat filter, like something that was gonna be on everyone's phone, I probably wouldn't use this font, but I'm not. I'm just using it for like my own personal project portfolio. So I'm just gonna leave it. I kind of like that it feels sort of old-fashioned. And I feel like when people think about Coney Island, they always think about like how it was in the past, with like the carnivals and stuff, and the old rides. So I'm gonna leave this like kind of old school cursive font for now. If you're following along, obviously you choose whatever font makes the most sense for your project. If you do want, let me get like a list of web-safe fonts for everyone. Here we go, the ultimate list of web-safe fonts, and then everyone will have, cool. Okay, I'm gonna copy this list into the chat. Feel free to use any of these fonts, but there's no spaces between them. Let me fix that. So I'm pasting it in with spaces this time. Feel free to use any of these different fonts. Try them all out. Whatever makes the most sense for you and your projects. Here we go. Okay, so now I'm going to move my project around. I already set the Y position. I kind of jumped ahead because I wanted it to be visible. But now I can do tip.x. Remember, x is left and right, Y is up and down, and I'm going to move it over a little bit just so it's centered. And then I feel like I should have done this in the beginning. I'm going to add like how to get here on the top. Cool. So if anyone is looking to join, here's the link right at the top. Just type that into your browser and you'll get to the same project that we're all at. So the next thing to do is change the color. Oh, I've been waiting for this because you can hardly see my project. So I can do it with the same properties, the same way that everything else looks. So here I have like tip.size, that's changing the size property of the tip object. .font is changing the font property. .x is changing the x property where it is left and right. .y is changing the y property where it is up and down. And then color, tip.color is going to change the color property. I'm going to make it black. I'm so happy that we've gotten here because it's impossible to see my text. And there we go. Yeah, you can use Comic Sans. When you use colors on VidCode, you can go ahead and just click on this, and this cool color picker will pop up that'll help you choose whatever color you want and create a hex color for you. I'm actually going to kind of change this. I want the contrast to be a bit different. I'm going to make this dark blue. There we go. Kind of like a washed out color that matches the font that I chose, kind of this old-fashioned feel. Then I'm going to make my text sort of yellow. Now you can't really see the glasses, so I'm going to choose a different emoji. Let's just like a bathing suit. I don't know, is that too silly? I don't choose a bathing suit. Maybe like ice cream, like, or like, I don't know, people go to the beach and eat ice cream, right? I haven't been to the beach in so long. It's like I guess like fried Oreos, like that's a beach food. Or people bring water to the beach, they don't want to be dehydrated. I don't know. Yeah, ice cream, perfect. Just paste that in. There's probably a bunch of songs about Coney Island. There we go. This is looking good. This yellow doesn't really match my emojis. I'm going to try and make it look more of like that sandy color. There we go. It's starting to look a bit better. It's not exactly centered on here, so I'm going to move it over a little bit by just increasing the Y property, and then move it down a little bit by increasing, oh sorry, I moved it right by increasing the X property, and I'm moving it down by increasing the Y property. There we go, that's looking good. So the other thing that I can add to this project, oh here, can you paste the text between the blocks? Yeah. Yeah, so this is my code so far for anyone who wants it. It's not letting me paste all of it. I'll do it without the... There we go. Okay, this is, yeah. There's so many limits in YouTube. Whatever. That's the box one, and then I'll paste the this one separately. There we go. So the other thing that I can do is choose different graphics to add. I'll just choose one. See, it's like a good Coney Island graphic. Like a stuffed animal, right? Like you try and like win things there. I guess that's not so much Coney Island. But actually just looking at this project, I feel like I kind of want like a hot air balloon up here. Like, is that silly? So I'm gonna look up like hot air balloon PNG transparent background graphic. It's a lot of words, but let's see what we get here. This is like kind of cute, like the first one I get. Yeah, this is great. Whatever. So let's go and save image as, and then I'm gonna do hot air balloon. It's gonna save as a PNG by default. Then I'm gonna go back to VidCode and go to upload file. I'm in my graphics tab here and just upload it, and there it is. So I'm gonna go to the very bottom of my code and just drag this in. And I'm worried that it's like huge, which is why it's not showing up right away. How big is this? Yeah, it's not huge, it's regular sized. There it is. Oh no, but it lied to me. So this is like a fake PNG. It doesn't really have a transparent background. Someone uploaded it on this like fake transparent background so it would show up in Google. Ridiculous. Let's see if there's any with a real transparent background. Okay, this one has a real transparent background. This one isn't lying to me. It's a bit too big for what I'm looking for, though. It's not so big. There we go. This one's reasonable. I'm going to go with this one. So I'm going to call it Hot Air Balloon 2. It's going to save as a PNG as well. I'm going to go to upload and upload the second one. And there we go. So once it's uploaded, I'm just going to drag it in. Let's see. No! No, why can't I find a transparent PNG? What a nightmare. Luke, can you copy and paste your code into the chat box and I can check it out? What an absolute nightmare. Okay, let's see if this one works. I'm gonna call it Hot Air Balloon 3, the third one. We're gonna keep trying. I'm gonna get a hot air balloon. God damn it. Yes! I'm so excited. Okay, so I finally found a PNG, a hot air balloon that actually has a transparent background. And I just did that to Google it. I looked up hot air balloon PNG transparent background. Got it on my third try. If you're looking for something similar and you're looking for a graphic that does have a transparent background, that doesn't have that border, it's gonna have to be a PNG. But as we saw with my search, not every PNG has a transparent background. Okay, awesome. So feel free to choose your own graphic. You can use the back to school ones if you want to. You can upload your own if you want to. If you really want to, you can take a picture of yourself and use your picture as your graphic. You can do whatever you want. So just like how we were editing the properties of box and tip for text and rectangle, graphic has its own properties that we can edit. Those include, if I look in the reference, things like X position, Y position, scale, opacity, rotation. I can change the source if I want to. So instead of updating the like file name here, I could update it using my variable name and like changing it. It's up to you. Like that would make sense if I was making a game or something, and if you click on something, the picture changes. I would have to do that using the source property, not this like initial function where I create this object. So let's go ahead and move this to the right. I'm on step 13 out of 19 for anyone following along. And I just type in my underscore graphic1.x. I'm gonna move it over a little bit. I don't want to move it over too much. I want it to collide with my wheel. What are we doing? There we go. 60 looks good. I'm gonna move it there. Let's see what's next. Okay, yeah, moving it vertically. So my graphic X is gonna move it left and right. My graphic dot Y is gonna move it up and down. Let's move it down a little bit. Like 120. Nah, it's too much. Okay, cool. I'm gonna go ahead and update the scale. It's a little bit too big for me. Let me do my graphic 1.scale. 1 is the default. If I type in 1, nothing's gonna change. 2 is gonna double it. That is a very large balloon. 0.5 is gonna put it in half. 4 is gonna quadruple it, which will make it an even bigger balloon. But I want it to be like 0.75. I want it to be, I want it to be a little bigger than that, 0.9. So only a little bit smaller than the initial file that I uploaded. I really like this. I like that it kind of looks like it's part of the scene. And if I wanted to later on, and we're gonna get to this next week, we're gonna do like a code the news thing. So we're actually gonna add graphics and loops and animations. And so if I wanted to, I could actually add an animation where this balloon like floats across the screen. Actually, I think we have time for that now. So we're gonna go a bit rogue today. It's okay if you don't get this far. If you don't want to challenge yourself or don't want to do this part, just follow along with the tutorial and finish this tutorial. If you do want to do this, we're about to dive into animations. So the first thing I'm gonna do is actually rotate this. So my graphic 1.rotation. Just because I don't want it to be straight up and down. I don't think that that is how things usually look. There we go. So like, it's like a little bit over, there's a little bit of wind blowing. That's okay, Luke. Yours can look different. Everyone's project can look different. It's okay. So here, if I want something to animate across my screen, and it's okay if for today, if you haven't done anything like this before, you're kind of just copying and pasting the code in. As we go through future clubs, animations and things like that are going to start making more sense. But sort of an overview is that all the code on my screen right now only gets read once. And it gets read in order. So for example, if I moved like tip below box, it's actually going to be behind it. And that's because my code is getting read in order and appearing on my screen as it's written. So what that means is that, I mean, in addition to a lot of things, it's only getting read once. So essentially, as soon as my computer reads this text, it never looks at it again. It's like, all right, I put the box here, I put the text here, I put the graphic here, I changed it into what you wanted. But if I wanted to actually animate it, I need something called a loop. And for those of you who've done Scratch projects before, you're familiar with this. You've used loops before. VidCode uses all the regular JavaScript loops, while loops, and for loops. But if I want an animation, I need something special called a repeat loop. And so the way that looks, and I'll post this in the chat as well, it's repeat function, because I'm calling a function. And it doesn't have to look like this. We could write a function outside of here and pass that in as well, but this is what we're going to do. So repeat function, open curly bracket, close curly bracket, however often I want this to run. I'll say every 5 frames, and then I need to close this and add a semicolon. It's the end of my idea. And then I'm going to say code goes here. So I'll paste this in. I won't expect you guys to do this on your own. It's not letting me put in like spaces or like enters, which is annoying. Sorry that you're seeing it like 7 times. Anyway, press enter yourself so it's kind of broken up into these lines. It'll work no matter what. JavaScript and actually not most, but many programming languages don't care if your code is on multiple lines or not. But like as humans, it's like much, much better for us to have code like broken up into multiple lines, because then like if things are broken, it's like much easier to kind of go back and like figure out where things went wrong or add more code. If everything's on one line, like things will get kind of crazy. I don't know what to do about the fact that YouTube isn't letting me post multiple lines of code, but we will deal with that when it matters later. So for now, can anyone actually tell me in the chat what property of my graphic you think I would have to animate to have it kind of float across the sky? Let's please be nice in the chat. I want to be able to keep running Coding Club, and if we see any bullying in the chat, we're not going to be able to keep doing it. So please be kind to each other. Otherwise, like I said, we won't be able to keep offering this to everyone. So we actually want to edit the X position of the graphic. You can kind of see that because if I edit it without animating it, I can see that it moves it. It does exactly what I want it to do. So to actually create an animation, yeah, so I haven't done it yet, Luke's, but this is what I have so far. So to actually make it animate, I have to change the X property within my repeat function. But let's say I do that. Let's say I do my graphic 1.x equals like 100. It's gonna work. Something's gonna happen. Yeah, so it moved once. Let me make this a bigger number so it's more obvious. Boop. So it does it. It moves, but it only moves once. And I could try and solve this by like, all right, well, let's do it again. Let's set it to 600. No, it just moves straight to 600. It like is at 400, but it goes so fast because computers move so fast that you don't even see it. You just see it jump straight to 600. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and hide Milo from the chat. Sorry, Milo. Okay, so then the next thing that we can do is actually, so this clearly didn't work. Sorry, I got distracted by hiding my first person from the chat, which is very exciting. So instead of like manually changing the number, I can actually set it to itself plus a number. And if that doesn't make sense, we're going to be returning to it time and time and time again. It's like a weird concept. So instead of setting this to 400, I need to set it to itself. So nothing's going to change because it's just like my graphic 1.x is 60, and it's just getting set to 60. But then I can set it to itself plus, let's say, 5. And now it should actually animate. There it is. It's like super as slowly as it possibly could be moving across my canvas. So I can do a couple things to make it go faster. Right now my loop is repeating every 5 frames. I can set this to 1 instead to make it just repeat more often, but it's still just kind of moving a bit too slowly. So I'm going to change this to 10 pixels instead. And there we go. Now I have this like sweet filter where this project is moving across the screen. When you're done with your project, if you want, let me post this code into the chat so everyone has it actually. Luke's, go ahead and copy and paste your code into the chat and we can debug it together. There's a bit of a delay when we do stuff on YouTube. So it's not quite like Zoom where I can kind of respond to you guys in the chat right away. But whenever your code isn't working, something that you can do is just post it into the chat and I'll see it and I'll kind of put it into the code editor and work on debugging it. So we have 1 minute left here. Let's see. So if you're done, you can go ahead and submit your project. Feel free to keep working on it. When you submit your project, I'll combine Coney Island animation. And I know you're probably wondering how to make it loop and go back. Like I said, next week we're going to be doing Code the News, so we're going to be getting to all of those different things. I actually think we might be doing Code the News for the next few clubs. Oh no, Luke, don't delete your code next time, just paste it. And then we'll be able to edit it together. So from this view, sometimes the boxes don't show up, just press refresh and they'll show up. The refresh is this little button here. So from here, you can share your project, you can link to it, you can embed it the same way you would like a YouTube video. You can edit it if you want to make a new version, and if you send this to anyone, this will say remix for them so they can make their own version of your project. Yeah, I mean, thank you all so much for coming. Let me see if there's any, so for some reason, VidCode won't let people in the chat post links, but I am just gonna open up all of the projects everyone made and just choose one. Let's see. So publish your project if you want, or submit it if you want. And I'll be able to see it. Let's see. So I published mine in 1908. All right, this one's cute. So this is Findaz's. I hope you don't mind me sharing it. I think it's using my webcam. Oh, and it loads! Hi, everyone! So this is Kate Findaz's project. I really love it. I love that it has this like exposure function. We used this in last week's project. And I feel like it makes me look like I'm glowing, just like the little happy emojis. This is such a positive project and one that I am so excited to end on. So yeah, thank you all so much for coming. As usual, I don't know, let me know if you like the new YouTube format. I know it's a bit weird, it's a bit different. And let me know if you have any questions or if there's anything that you want to work on in the future. My email is leandra@vidcode.com. And I hope you all have a wonderful week. Bye, everyone.